Good morning, children. A very good morning to everyone. Myself, Komala Patil, handling 6th standard science. So yesterday we have done the revision for all the objective type headings. So we have almost finished fill in the blanks, and then we have covered match the following, and last two match the following matchups were remaining. So I have given a test also for the fill in the blanks, and today we'll write another test including those last 7 fill in the blanks and then match the following. And soon after finishing the match the following, I'll just write down the another heading, that is true or false. So we'll cover how much we can in this period. So yesterday what we have finished about the match the following, just a recap of the yesterday's heading. So match the following. What was the first one? Mirror. So what is the matchup for the mirror is reflection. And then stone. So what does the option in the column B says about stone? So stone is an opaque object. What is opaque object? The materials which will not allow light to pass through them. And then what is mirror? Actually mirror is, what is the option in the column B? Reflection. So what happens when light falls on the mirror? It bounces back. It reflects back. Understood? So whenever light falls on any shiny surface or a polished surface, light reflects back, it bounces back. Understood? So this is called as reflection. So mirror, the correct matchup for the mirror is reflection. And the third one is fireflies. So all we have studied in light lesson, what are luminous and non-luminous objects. So luminous is nothing but the bodies which emit light on their own. So what are luminous objects? Objects which, or the bodies which emit light of their own, okay, like sun, stars. So moon is not a it is not a luminous because it takes the light from the sun and then it gives out the light, isn't it? So it is not having its own light, so that is non-luminous object. So next, fireflies. So what is firefly? It is a insect wherein it emits light of its own. So whenever you're traveling, you can see some light fireflies like this coming in between your vehicle, isn't it? So as though they're carrying a torch behind. So those are called as fireflies or glowworms. So these are called as luminous bodies. Okay. Next one, will go for the translucent. So what is translucent? This is also a type of material wherein light passes through it, but it passes partially. Light will not enter completely into these translucent objects. So what we say? Example is given in the column B. So what is the correct option in the column B? Translucent tracing paper. Okay. And the next, shadow. What is shadow? Shadow is a dark area or a dark patch which is formed when any opaque object comes in the path of light. Any source of light. It can be any source of light. It can be sun or it can be your normal light, whatever you are using. So any object comes in between the path of light, in front of the source of light, in the path of light, then what is formed? Shadow is formed. So what is shadow? It is a dark patch or a dark area. Understood? So that is the correct option in the column B. Next, we'll something about magnets. So magnet is what? It is having the property, it is a substance wherein it has a property of attracting iron, cobalt and nickel. So it attracts. Okay. So now magnet, when it is suspended freely, it always aligns or it always shows north-south direction. Understood? It always shows north-south direction. So whenever it is suspended freely, understood? So now magnet is having two poles. What poles? Two poles, that is north pole and south pole. So before alignment we have to see this. So magnet always has two poles, north pole and south pole. So when it is suspended freely, it always shows the direction of north and south. Okay, when two magnets, always any magnet, whenever it has always two poles. Okay, and whenever two magnets which are having two poles, north pole and south, when they are brought, it depends upon what type of poles are brought near to each other. Suppose like poles like north and north. So like poles repel, they move away, they will not attract, no effect. But when the unlike poles are brought near each other, that is north and south, or south and north, if unlike poles are brought near each other, they attract. So this is a characteristic of magnets. Okay, like poles repel, unlike poles attract. Okay, now we have given some in column A, north and north. So these north and north is like pole. So what happens here, if both the poles are same, they will repel. So what is that? Repulsion. Okay, then north and south, they are unlike. So what happens if it is unlike? They attract. So what is the in the column B? Attraction. And again the opposite, south and north, they are unlike, isn't it? So that is also attraction. And south and south are like, they also repel. Okay, so this is about this one, matchups for the lesson magnet. And we have another 4 or 5 matchups from this lesson, fun with magnets. Okay, now first one, boat gets, this I have written on the board, boat gets attracted towards the magnet. So now a boat, we are taking an example of a boat, and then we are telling boat is getting attracted towards a magnet. So what can be the answer? Then boat is a thing which is made up of magnetic material. That's why it is getting attracted towards magnet. So boat is made up of magnetic material. If it is made up of magnetic material, then it will get attracted towards magnet. Okay. Now next, boat is not affected by the magnet. It is not getting, if you bring a magnet also, it is not showing any effect. It is not showing any attraction. So what can be the answer in the column B? Boat is made up of a non-magnetic material. Understood? So most of you think this is like this big matchups are there. It is like answer. Okay. If you understand, you can correctly match up. So boat is made up of non-magnetic. It can be of wood. It can be of any other material which is not getting attracted towards the magnet. Okay. Now the 12th one, boat. Now repulsion and attraction concept comes here. Okay. Now two boats. So now first boat moves towards the magnet if the north pole of the magnet is brought near its head. Okay. What can be the answer? Boat is fitted with the magnet with the south pole towards its head. So here unlike pole should be there. If it is not, then the other point should be the south. The last second, boat moves away from the magnet when the north pole is brought near its head. Okay, if the other side also is north and if this side also is north, then they move apart. So there is repulsion. What can be the answer? Boat is fitted with the magnet with the north pole. If it is moving away with the north pole, and the other side should be the pole with the north pole. That's why it is getting apart. It is getting, it's repelling. It is repulsion is occurring there. Okay. Next, boat floats without changing its direction. So the last one, what it says, it is floats without changing its direction. Boat has a small magnet fixed along its head. Okay, now I'll write the last second, 13th one. So what is 13th one? Boat moves away from the magnet. From the magnet when north pole is brought near its head. So what can be the answer? Boat is fitted with the magnet with north pole towards its head. Next one, 14th one. Boat floats without changing its direction. It is not brought in front of any other magnet. So it just moves on without changing its direction. That means boat has a small magnet fitted inside. boat has a small magnet fixed along its head. So here magnet is brought in front with their poles, but here boat floats without changing its direction, means it is having a small magnet which is fixed along its head, so it moves without changing its direction. So these are the matchups for all the chapters from first lesson to the last chapter. Okay, so you almost have in fun with magnets itself. Match the following. Now we'll go for the true or false. So once we finish true or false, then we'll write a test on match the following, and then the remaining fill in the blanks what we have studied yesterday. Those are writing. I think almost all have written the revision. All have written match the following. Very less number of fill in the blanks, match the followings are there, but you have to write down, or you can study by checking your classwork, understood, and write down afterwards. After studying, then once again write down without seeing. Next we'll go for true or false. Say whether the statements are true or false. Now the third bit, what we are going to write is mark true or false for the following statements. For the following statements. Okay, now it can be written, the heading can be any type. If they can write state whether the following statements are true or false, or mark true or false, or simply just they can write true or false. Okay, it doesn't matter. Now first one will write electric current can flow through metals. So where does this electric current flow? It can flow through some of the materials, and they are called as conductors. So if the current passes through them, otherwise if they are not passing, we will call them as insulators. So what is the sentence here? Electric current can flow through metals. So this sentence is true. Okay, second one. Instead of metal wires, a jute string can be used to make a circuit. Okay, this is so. When we are using the metal wires to conduct electric current, or to pass on, or to pass the electric current, then instead of metal wires, okay, what they are telling, we can be use the jute string, what we use it for tying the bags and all. Whether the jute, instead of that, can we replace that metal wires with jute string? So it is not possible. It will not allow, or it cannot pass on the electric current. Okay, it gets burnt, isn't it? So jute string cannot be used. So this sentence can be false. Okay, First one is true, second one is false. Next one, third. Electric current can pass through a sheet of thermocol. So use, I think almost all might have come across thermocols which you use in your science during science exhibitions and all. You use this for doing some model and all, isn't it? So have you experienced that? Have you touched or the thermocol material? So they are telling whether electric current can pass through a thermocol. It will not pass. Understood? It does not conduct electric current. So this sentence also is false. Okay, the next one, a cylindrical magnet. Now the next sentence comes about magnet. What does it say? Electrical magnet has only one pole. A cylindrical magnet has only one pole. So just now I have told you about magnets. Magnet always has two poles, that is north pole and south poles. If it is made into pieces also, that piece also will have two poles, that is magnet and north pole and south pole. So this is cylindrical magnet is one type of artificial magnets. I have told you they can be made in the shape of bar or horseshoe or cylindrical. So they are asking whether the cylindrical magnet has only one pole. So this is false. Sentence is false. It always has. So I am correcting the sentences whenever it is false. So one cylindrical magnet has two poles. Okay. Next one. Artificial magnets were discovered in Greece. So there are many stories about the discovery of magnet. So magnesia, understood. So they are telling us whether the artificial magnets are man-made, isn't it? So the natural magnets were found in the rock, like in magnesia and all. So artificial magnets are usually made from the magnets which they have got it. So the artificial magnets were discovered in Greece. Sentence is wrong. Okay, so there are many stories about the discovery of magnet. Now, similar poles of the magnet repel each other. Similar poles of a magnet repel each other. So what this sentence tells us, whether it is true or false. Similar, I just now told you about the characteristic of magnet. Magnet has two poles, north pole and south pole. So what are the important features of this north pole and south pole? When two magnets of the poles of their poles are brought near. So what type of poles are brought? What happens if the like poles are brought, and what happens if unlike poles are brought near each other? Now similar is nothing but your like poles. Okay, same. North and north, south and south. Suppose similar poles of a magnet repel each other. Okay, the sentence is true. What I've told? Like poles repel, unlike poles attract. So the sentence is correct. Similar poles of a magnet repel each other. So the sentence is true. Okay, don't get confused by the repulsion and the attraction. Same poles or like poles, they repel. Unlike poles, different poles, they attract. Okay. Now, next, maximum ion filings. Maximum ion fillings. Fillings stick in the middle. Stick in the middle. The middle of a bar magnet. Bar magnet when it is brought near them. It is brought near them. Okay. So what does the sentence tell us? So maximum, more of the ion fillings stick in the middle of a bar magnet. Now we are taking a bar magnet, we are keeping some ion fillings there down, and we want to see whether they get attracted. Yes, they get attracted because they have the property ion magnet gets attracted towards the ion, isn't it? Now now bar magnet is having two poles, isn't it? Now to find out the poles, just they brought the ion fillings near the magnet and then they saw where does these fillings get attracted most. Understood? And when they saw most of the ion fillings got stuck to the ends of the magnet, bar magnet. So only some of the ion fillings were attracted in the middle of the bar magnet. And when they got attracted towards the end, then they found out the poles of the magnet. Understood? Then they name them as North Pole and South Pole. So most of the power of attraction is towards the poles of the magnet. But what this sentence says? Maximum ion fillings stick in the middle of the bar magnet when it is brought near them. So this sentence is wrong. So most of the ion fillings get attracted towards the pole of the magnet, wherein north and south. Only minimum, less number of ion fillings are attracted in the middle of the bar magnet. So this sentence is wrong. Okay, now next, bar magnets always point towards north-south direction. Okay, so what does this say? Bar magnets are repeatedly I am saying whenever a magnet is suspended, it always aligns or it always shows the direction of north and south. So bar magnets always point towards north-south direction. So this sentence is true. Okay, the ninth one. What does ninth say? So I will write the ninth one this side. If you have already written, just listen to the explanation, then you will understand it clearly. What does the ninth one say? It is about a compass. A compass can be used to find east-west direction at any place. Okay, this sentence is whether it is true or false. So what is a compass? It is a device wherein it is used to find the direction whenever it is used by the navigators or the pilots to find out the direction, because magnet always shows north-south direction. Once it is showing north-south direction, then immediately we can understand even the east-west, the opposite directions. Okay, now this sentence says a compass can be used to find out east-west direction at any place. So it is a device wherein you have all the directions which are written there inside. So once it aligns towards north-south direction or it is showing the direction, it is compass is having a needle inside. Understood? It is magnetized. So that always shows the direction of north-south. So immediately it can also show the east-west direction. So this sentence is true. Next, rubber is a magnetic material. Rubber is a magnetic material. This you can answer by your own sooner. Whether it is a magnetic, whether it will get attracted towards a magnet, no, isn't it? So this can be false. The next one will go for 11th one. Water vapor is present in air only during monsoon. No. Isn't it? The sentence is false. So air is a mixture. Air is a mixture. It is having many components inside. Many in the sense it is having oxygen. It is having nitrogen. Isn't it? So 21% of oxygen, and the remaining is the major part of the air is nitrogen, and the remaining 1% is having your dust, smoke, water vapor, isn't it? So these all are the small percentage of components which are present in the mixture of air. So water vapor is only, it is not that it is only present in the monsoon, it is always present in the air. Okay, so the sentence is false. Next one, water evaporates. Water evaporates into air from oceans rivers, ponds, lakes, but not from the soil. See what the sentence is? Water evaporates. So water cycle is having that process of evaporation, condensation, isn't it? So water evaporates into the air from the water bodies. What are those water bodies? It can be oceans, rivers, ponds, lakes. But they say it is not from soil. No. Even water gets evaporated from the soil. You can see the cracks, isn't it? So you can see the cracks in the soil when there is less amount of water. Understood? So when water is less or it gets evaporated, it starts drying off. The soil becomes dry due to the absence of air. So what is happening here? Water evaporates. So this sentence can be false. Even water evaporates from the soil. The next one, the process of water changing into vapor into its vapor is called evaporation. Now after repeating this, you should understand whether it is true or false. So when water is changing into its vapor, then what it is called? Evaporation. So the sentence is true. Okay, now what does it say? Compass can be used to find the direction, east-west direction. Yes, once we find out north-south, immediately we can understand even the east-west direction. And then what we have? Rubber is a not magnetic material. So the sentence is false. Okay, water vapor is present in the air only during monsoon. No, it is present in the air, and it's one of the component of the mixture of air. Then water evaporates into air from oceans, rivers, ponds, and seas, but not from the soil. False. It also gets evaporated from the some amount. It is not that all of some amount of water from the soil also gets evaporated. And the process of water changing into its vapor is called as evaporation. So this sentence is correct. Now we get to the next one. What does the next man? True or false tells us? Okay. 14th one. The evaporation of water takes place only in sunlight. So what does this say? Whether evaporation occurs only during the sunlight because of the heat of the sun? No. Even the warm air which is there around, that also it helps in evaporation. It is not that only the evaporation sunlight is needed. Because of heat, warm air is around us. Even that warm air also makes the water to evaporate. So the sentence is false. The next one, 15. Water vapor condenses to form tiny droplets of water in the upper layer of air where it is cooler. Okay, so this sentence is true. So all of you know what is the process of condensation. What happens in condensation? The vapors which are getting evaporated, as they go higher and higher, they become cooler. And once they become cool, and then they condense into water droplets. So that process is called as what? Condensation. So water vapor condenses to form tiny droplets of water in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Sentence is true. So these are 15 match the true or false which you are going to learn. Okay, children, write down this. If you have already written, just go through, read those sentences. Okay. Now soon after this, I am going to give you the test, small slip test, which includes match the following and the remaining fill in the blanks what have left yesterday. Fill in the blanks. First one, the layer of air around the earth second one, excessive rains because dash. No rainfall for a year may lead to dash in that region. The next will be here. Nice different. First one, fireflies. Mirror, north and north. Shadow, translucent. Stone, next can be south and north. Next, I'll write the options in the column B, then you go on matching it. Repulsion. So what is the magic following here? Fireflies, mirror, north and north, shadow, translucent, stone, south and north. Now write down the answers. I'll just wait for 2 minutes and then I'll write the answers on the board. Okay, I think almost you have written all the 3 filled lines. And just write the answers. Just go on correcting yourself. The layer of air around the earth is known as atmosphere. Okay, just correct the spellings also. If you know the answer and if you make mistakes, no you. So write the spellings also correctly. Excessive rains may cause floods. Okay. Now, no rainfall for a year or more will lead to drought. These are the remaining elements which I have taken yesterday. Okay, write down the answers. If you have made mistakes, do the followed one. Okay. Now next we go for as the following. So what fireflies stays in the column B? So fireflies are your luminous bodies. This is one. So you can write the direct answers. Don't write down, mark the lines from here and there. So or write the direct answers in front of them. So I am just setting the numbers in front of the column A. I am writing it in the column B. So fireflies are luminous bodies. Mirror. What does mirror say in the column B? Mirror says about reflection. So light reflects back whenever it falls on a mirror. Now next is about magnet. So what does this? These are two poles of the magnet, north and north. So what happens if north and north is brought together? They repel. Okay, so this is third one. Next, shadow. What is a shadow? It is a dark area or a dark patch which forms when any object comes in the path of light. So whether this is the dark patch here, here. This is fourth one. Next, translucent. So what does translucent says? Translucent materials are those materials wherein light passes but it passes partially. Now we have an example in the column B. So what is translucent says about tracing paper. Next, stone. So stone is an opaque object which will not allow the light to pass through it. So stone is 6. And then south and north. So south, these are the two different unlike poles. They get attracted. Okay, this is 7. So these are the answers for the match the following. So if you have done mistake, repeat it, learn it, and then write. You know the correct answer. Okay, fireflies is nothing but your luminous bodies. Mirror, reflection. North and north, repulsion. Shadow, dark patch, or it can be dark area also. And then translucent, you have the example of tracing paper. Stone, opaque object. Then south and north is attraction. So this is about, so we have almost completed 3 bits. In these 3 days, we have almost completed 3 bits. That is fill in the blanks, match the following, and then true or false. Okay. Now state whether the following statements are evaporation or condensation are there. Some 5 to 6 examples are there. You have to see that and understand it and then write whether it is evaporation or condensation. Then you have multiple choice questions which you have in each of the lessons. So choice will be given. Read the question and pick the correct answer or write the correct answer. Multiple choice. Okay, this you have already done the your FA exams. Understood? So these are the only thing which we have left. Okay. Now this is a small revision for your preparatory. Then you have to read the question answers, 1 mark questions, 2 mark questions, and then figures, and then experiment. So these are the remaining bits or the headings which we have not done it, that you have to complete it. Okay, children. So this is all for today, and all the best for your preparatory exams. Thank you.